Welcome. Thank you for joining me for an hour of Kripalu Yoga. My name is Betsy. If you're new to Kripalu Yoga is the yoga of compassion, and compassion starts with you. And once you are compassionate with yourself, it better allows you to be compassionate with the world around you. So just take a few moments. Find a nice, comfortable seat. I'm sitting on a yoga blanket with my ankles crossed. You can also extend your feet out or even sit in a chair. And you can modify this class to accommodate chair yoga. If you don't want to cross your ankles, you can lay both legs directly in front. You want to come to the very front of your blanket where you feel your hips just slightly folding forward, extending your spine, nice long spine, shoulders back and down, and reaching out through the crown of your head. Then just notice your breath. Don't change it. Just notice your natural breath as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And just relax your face, your muscles in your face, in your shoulders. Calm your mind. Lowering your blood pressure. And calming your nervous system. Now notice where you're practicing, if you have enough room to move freely as you're noticing your natural breath. I have 2 yoga blocks here. I have a yoga strap, a bolster that you can use at the end of the class if you have one handy, or a cushion from your couch. And I have a second yoga blanket off to the side. If you don't have a yoga strap, grab a necktie or a soft belt that you would use for a house coat. If you don't have a yoga block or 2, just grab a couple of books and stack them where they're about 4 inches high. Notice your environment, back to the environment. Do you have nice, soft lighting? Is the environment calming to you? No distractions. Nice soft music in the background. Try to relax the muscles right between your eyebrows. Gently closing your eyes. Noticing the temperature in your room. Now very gently place your left hand on your chest just above your breastbone, and your right hand on your belly button. Shoulders still back and down, elongating your spine, reaching out through the crown of your head. Feeling your body's movement when you breathe in, naturally breathing out. On your next inhale, inhale deeply, filling your belly, expanding your ribs, and feeling your shoulders lift. And then exhale through the nose. Inhale, filling the belly, ribs, and chest. 3-part breath here. And exhaling through the nose, letting your shoulders relax, the ribs go back, and your belly button goes back towards the spine. Inhale. And exhale. Continue on your own for 3 more breaths, filling the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And if you're having any trouble getting these deep breaths in and out, just visualize the breath coming in. Visualize the breath going down into the bottom of your lungs, lifting your diaphragm, moving your belly out, expanding your ribs, and lifting your shoulders up. And then visualize all that air coming out, and the belly's back in place, the ribs and the shoulders. One last big inhale. And exhale. On your next inhale, place your hand right in front of your mouth. You can be facing me. I'm turning to the side so you can see. I want your face right just about an inch or 2 from your mouth and your nose. As you inhale through the nose, hear a noise. You want to hear, this is Ujjayi breath, ocean sounding breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, trying to breathe heavy with a sigh, as if you're fogging that mirror, pretending your hand is a mirror. Inhale. Continue with the Ujjayi breath, ocean sounding breath. Feeling your body's reaction when you inhale. It's a Darth Vader breath. Continue at your own pace. When you inhale, the sound of your breath is as if the wave is cresting. And as you exhale, it's hitting the beach. On your next inhale, come back to your natural breath. Take a moment allowing your body to relax and come back into its natural breath. Now, if you have your knees, if you have your ankles crossed, uncross them and then bring your foot that was in the back towards the front, trying to balance out the pressure you're putting on your knees, on your hips, and on your ankles. Sitting with a nice tall back, shoulders back and down, extending through the crown of your head. Natural breath, nice long torso. Keeping your sit bones and your hips on the ground. On your next inhale, inhale, bringing your shoulders back, chest forward, leading with your chin. Nice arch in the back. And then exhale, bringing your shoulders forward, tucking your chin, rounding your back. As you exhale, inhale forward. We are doing the 6 movements of the spine. And then exhale, rounding the shoulders and the back and tucking your chin. Inhale forward. So we are doing a flexion and an extension. This is an extension. Exhale into a flexion. Every time we move forward, We're opening up the front of the spine, condensing the back side of the spine, allowing synovial fluid to gently flow into all of the openings of this vertebrae. And with the chin tucked in the rounded back, we're opening up the back of the spine, condensing, bringing the front, and then we're bringing in synovial fluid to the back part of the spine. And inhale, coming back up. Inhale one more time forward. And exhale back. Inhale, arms to the side. Exhale, nice tall back. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dropping your right arm to the floor, reaching with your left arm. Nice stretch. You can bring your arm out a little further if that's more comfortable. Inhale, arms up and over to the left side. We are opening up the sides of the vertebrae, allowing synovial fluid to rush into all the spaces we're opening on the side of your vertebrae. Two more. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down. One last time. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up and bring your arms to shoulder height, parallel to the ground, pressing those fingers towards opposite walls. And then inhale over to your right side, placing your left hand on your right knee, placing your right hand back behind you. Now, if you want, and you can bring it over, bring your right hand around to the side of your waist, looking over your shoulder. Nice twist in the spine, allowing synovial fluid to rush in. Nice shoulder stretch. Easy breaths here. Holding this position. On your next inhale, release your arms, bring them back to shoulder height, and let's go over to the left side. Reaching over with your chin, looking behind your left shoulder, feeling that stretch. Your hand can be on your right hand can be, left hand can be on the floor behind you, or you can wrap it around your waist and bring it to the side. Find your comfort zone. Easy breaths here, keeping your hips pressed into the ground gently. If you're feeling any pain, I want you to ease up out of this pose. Inhale, arms up, and bringing your arms back to your knees. There is no pain in yoga, so if you're feeling any pain whatsoever, listen to your body and ease up. When your body is feeling pain, it is sending you a message. So ease up out of the pain and go to a position or to a spot in that particular asana or stretch where you're feeling comfortable. A little bit of discomfort, find your edge. No pain though. The edge does not involve pain. Easy breaths here. Inhale, arms straight out in front of you, taking your left arm, placing it on your right shoulder, and your right arm up on your left shoulder. Inhale, slowly lifting your elbows when you've gone as high as you can, and you start to release. Exhale your breath. Nice, slow movements. feeling all the muscles in the back. Inhale, arms straight out in front of you, taking your arms straight out in front, taking your right hand to your left shoulder and your left hand to your right shoulder. And then inhale, pressing those elbows up slowly. And as you start to release, exhale very gently. Bringing your hands in front, coming up on your knees. If you're sitting on a blanket, please remove the blanket. And we're going into tabletop. In tabletop position, knees are directly below your hips. If you have any hip or if you have tender knees, I want you to take a blanket and place it directly underneath your knees. If they aren't a problem, use your mat. If you don't have a blanket, you can always double up your mat and place your knee on top of the doubled up mat. Always creative in yoga. So knees directly below the hips, fingers right below the shoulders, neutral back, your eyes are looking right between your hands. Taking your right hand, moving it out slightly in front, taking your left foot and extending it with the top of your foot, pressing into the floor. Inhale gently and lift your arm and your foot parallel to the ground, extending your toes and your feet towards the walls. Easy breaths here, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the thighs, engaging your abdominal muscles. We're using the core here, working on the balance. We're balancing one side of the body to the other. On your next inhale, come back to tabletop, placing your left hand forward and your right leg back, the top of your foot flat on the ground. And if this is enough for you, stay right here. We're still using those muscles. If you're ready, raise your arm and your leg up parallel to the ground, using your back leg to help stabilize and your front hand with fingers spread wide. Easy breaths here. Inhale, bringing your leg down. Very slowly bringing your knees out to the side, and let's go into child's pose. Pressing your belly down towards the ground, your hips towards your heels, extending your arms out in front of you, resting your forehead gently on the ground. Easy breath here. Stretching out the back. On your next inhale, tuck your back toes, come into the modified tabletop with toes tucked. Now, if you're more comfortable, place your hands a little further apart, little fingers closer to the edge of the mat, and then gently lift your knees up, and let's come into downward facing dog. Easy breaths, lifting your hips up towards the sky, bringing your head between your elbows. Easy breaths, nice straight line,
reaching out through the crown of your head. You should have a straight line from your tip of your head all the way back to your sit bones and your hips. Inhale, coming back down, placing your forearms on the ground and interlacing your fingers, pressing your hands, your forearms and your elbows into the ground, keeping your knees under your hips about hip distance apart, tucking your toes. We're going to gently come into dolphin pose. Same posture as downward facing dog. We're just on our elbows. This pose is excellent for building shoulder strength, upper body strength. Keeping the knees slightly bent. Three-part breath. On your next inhale, bringing your knees down, placing your hands directly underneath your shoulders, untucking your toes, and come back into child's pose for just a minute, stretching out that back, feeling your belly pressing into your thighs, feeling your hips reaching towards your heels, extending your arms long, gently placing your forehead on the ground. Easy breaths here. Inhale, back to tabletop, tucking your back toes, taking your left leg and placing it right between your hands, pressing through your back leg and bring your knee up, keeping a slight bend in your knee. We're in a low lunge here. Eyes are looking directly between your fingers. I want you to gently bend that knee and step forward and just allow your head to dangle towards the ground. Knees are bent. Hips reaching towards the ceiling. Arms just relaxing, stretching that upper shoulder and the lower back. Very gently taking your hands and rounding your back, allowing your shoulders to lift, using your hands to glide up your legs. And coming into mountain pose with your chin being the last thing to lift. Inhale, arms up, and then exhale, bending your knees, coming into chair pose, pressing your hips back behind you as if you're about to sit in a chair. Your hips are directly above, so your knees and your ankles are directly squared to your hips. To ease up some of the pain or stress on your knees, press a little bit more of your balance into your heels. Easy breaths here. If you're having a hard time breathing, come up out of this pose a bit. You can extend your hands more at an angle, 90 or 45 degree angle towards the ceiling, or right out in front, using a little bit more muscle in the shoulders here. And very gently bringing your arms down, placing your arms right where your legs and your hips attach. Nice little area right there.
And gently placing the weight, shifting the weight to your left foot. I want you to raise your right foot up and very gently step back into warrior one. You can do this on a chair, holding to the back of the chair, helping with stability. You can use a wall by placing your hands up on the wall to help with your stability. Both feet are facing forward. Your front knee directly above your ankle. You should be able to look down and see your big toe. Both feet facing forward. Squeeze those glutes, squeeze those thighs. Easy breaths. And very gently placing your back foot down at a 90-degree angle and arms at shoulder height. Check your front knee. Make sure it's still above your ankle. You don't want it moving in or going too far out. We want to protect the knee. Now very gently, I should have told you to do this before we started. I want you to grab one block, place it right up against your ankle in the front. Back into warrior two. Easy breaths. Check your back hand, make sure it's shoulder height. Check your front hand. If it's up too high, bring it down. And gently straighten that front leg. Twisting your waist, looking forward, squaring your shoulders to the front. I want you to very gently place your right arm down on the block and reaching your other arm towards the ceiling. So this is a twisted triangle. If you need to, bend your front knee if it makes it a little easier. And very gently releasing, pressing into your thigh with your left hand and pulling yourself up. And gently coming forward. Placing the block square between your hips. Inhale, arms up. And then exhale, arms down to shoulder height. Keeping those knees slightly bent. Long torso, reaching out through the crown of your head. Shoulders back and down, opening up your chest. Easy breaths. And slowly start to hinge right at your hips where your legs meet the hips with a straight back, leading with your chin and coming parallel, torso parallel to the ground, keeping those knees slightly bent. Bend them a little more if you need to. We're building balance, we're building core muscles, and we're also working on building the muscles in your lower back, in your back overall, not just the lower back. But this particular pose is helping your shoulders, your lower back. It's also helping your balance. Now inhale, arms down, placing them on top of the block. Take your left hand, center it on the block, keeping your knees bent. Inhale, arm up. Keeping your weight evenly distributed between both feet. Twisting your torso. And exhale, back down, switching your right hand to the center of the block. Inhale, bringing your left arm up, reaching towards the sky. Easy breaths here. And inhale back down, keeping your torso parallel to the ground, knees slightly bent. I want you to inhale, arms out, place them behind you, interlace your fingers, and stretch your arms out. If you need to use a strap here, that's not cheating. It's perfectly acceptable. Taking the strap and using it behind you, allowing yourself to bring your chin down towards the ground, straight back, and extending the arms up into a standing yoga mudra. Easy breaths here. Lower your arms if it's too intense. If you want, you can place your arms just on your lower back. That works too. Still working those shoulder muscles. Find what's comfortable for you. Inhale, bringing your hands to the block. Bending your knees, placing your hands on both thighs, keeping your back straight, pressing into the thighs gently, lifting yourself up into standing with wide spread of the feet. Taking a breath here. Very gently turning your right foot with the toes pointing forward. If you need to, reduce the space between your feet. Keeping that knee slightly bent. Inhaling, arms up. And very gently bringing, I'm putting the block right by my foot. Arms up. And gently twist your body towards the right. Arms shoulder height, pressing out, and very gently coming down, straight back, and place your left hand on the block. And you can modify this and make the block even taller. And inhale, raising your right arm up towards the ceiling. Nice twisted triangle. If you need, bend that front leg. Listen to your body. If you're using a chair, use the chair for support, placing your hand on the back or the seat of the chair. Inhale, coming back down, and gently lifting your body up and twisting back towards the front. Bend your front knee. Have your ankle directly above, your ankle directly below your knee. Look to see that you can view your big toe. Shoulder height for both arms, looking behind you, looking in front of you, squeezing the glutes together, back leg slight bend in the knee, protecting those knees, using your abdominal muscles for balance, using your legs, your hips. And very gently turning back to the side. Now, if you need to, grab the wall or a chair for balance, and I want you to slowly rotate your back leg and come into warrior pose. Pressing that back heel towards the ground. Make sure your knee is directly above your ankle. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the thighs.
Engage your abdominal muscles. If you're losing balance, put a little bit more distance between the feet. Bring each foot to the opposite side of the mat. Inhale, arms down to your hips. Lean just over your front leg. Bend your back knee and step up to the front of your mat. Now grab a drink. I'm going to turn to this front of my mat. So, towards the front of your mat, in mountain pose. Feet hip distance apart, equal weight on the front and the back of your leg or your feet. Knees slightly bent. We don't want to hyperextend those knees. That is just setting you up to injure your knee. Slight bend, neutral pelvis. Elongating your spine, nice tall torso. Shoulders back and down, reaching out through the crown of your head. Inhale, arms up. And then exhale, swan dive down, flat back. Placing your hands on the ground, stepping your left foot back and your right foot back, and we're coming back into downward facing dog. Easy breaths here. Inhale, coming forward into plank. In plank, you should have a straight line from your heels all the way to your shoulders, or you can place your knees down, keeping your toes tucked. And you want a nice straight line from your knees all the way to your shoulders. Holding this pose. Easy breaths. Making whatever adjustments you need. Relaxing your shoulders. We're building upper body strength, building the strength in your back. Feeling those muscles very gently. Coming back up into plank or staying with your knees. Now I'm going to show you a modification on a side plank. If you're on your knees, come into table and then bring your right foot forward, just about where your hips are. And then inhale, arms up. If you're in regular plank, come over to the side of your left leg and place your right leg right on top and extending your arm up. Even if you're in regular plank, you can modify it by placing your leg in front. Now inhale, bringing hand back down, coming back into plank. I'm turning the other way. Placing your weight on your right hand, coming over to your side, and then inhaling, arm up, or bending your leg, keeping your hip raised. This is not easy. You can keep your knee down, have the front leg forward, your left leg bent, stabilizing you. And then inhale, coming into child's pose. Now in child's pose, take a couple of breaths. Allow yourself to relax, feeling the stretch in your arms, your shoulders, in your lower back. Relaxing, catching your breath. Child's pose is a great flexion. Forward bend with your knees tucked under you. If you want to take deeper breaths, spread your knees and just let your belly rest between your legs. Allow you to get more of a breath in. Now inhale, coming up to tabletop, knees directly below your hips, arms straight down to the ground with your palms directly below your shoulders. I want you to very gently, stepping one leg back and the other, coming back into the modified plank. Gently bring yourself back down onto your belly, placing your hands directly underneath your shoulders, lifting your left leg up and extending it, placing it back down. Lift your right leg up, extend it, and place it down. Taking a breath, getting comfortable, pressing your hips and the tops of your feet into the ground. Slowly lift your upper body. Inhale, coming back down, and then gently pressing yourself up. You can come up on your elbow and stay here, or a little bit further, a little more of an extension in the back. We're condensing the vertebrae in the back of the spine, opening up the vertebrae in the front of the spine, stretching tendons, ligaments, and fascia that help support your muscles. Easy breaths here, squeezing the glutes, pressing the hips in towards the ground, pressing the top of your feet into the mat. Easy breaths here. If you're having a hard time getting a breath, come down. Still getting a nice stretch. All of this is building muscles in your upper back. Building abdominal muscles, building core, all of which helps you maintain proper balance. Inhale, bending your knees, coming back into tabletop. Knees directly below your hips, hands directly below your shoulders. Inhale, bringing your right knee in between your hands and extending your left foot back as far as you can go, squaring your hips to the ground. Now, if you need to, you can bring the floor a little bit closer by placing blocks on the side, placing your hands directly on these blocks. In this pose, if you do this pose for 2 minutes on each side a day, you will be increasing the strength in your lower back. If you have lower back pain, this is what you need to do. According to the World Health Organization, back pain is the #1 critical disability
in the world, and yoga is perfect for helping reduce back pain. Holding this pose. If you want to, you can release your hands, open your chest, and move your hands back behind you. Listen to your body. If your body tells you this is not right, I want you to ease back in to placing your hands on the floor. Pressing your hips towards the ground. Easy breaths. Inhale, tucking your back toe. I want you to lift up and come back into tabletop pose. Now, if you have blocks up underneath you, under your hands, just leave them there. We'll do a modified tabletop. Hips directly above your knees. Hands directly below your shoulders. Inhale, bringing your left knee in between your hands and extending your back foot. Going into pigeon on the other side, feeling that stretch in the shoulders. Square hips towards the front and allowing your hips to melt into the ground. Relaxing your shoulders. Taking a 3-part breath here. If you're having trouble with a 3-part breath, then lower yourself down to your elbows, even if you're on blocks. If you can't take a deep breath, you're into the pose too much. And yoga is a gradual pose or a gradual practice. If you're not able to do the full expression of an asana, modify it and allow your muscles to slowly build. And then before you know it, you'll be able to come up and do the full expression of pigeon. Pressing into the back foot, using your front leg to help support. Feeling that strength in your back. Easy breaths here. Balancing out the body. Inhale, coming back down into tabletop, and then very slowly come into child's pose. On our next pose, keep 2 blocks close to you. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. It still works. Coming up on your knees and very gently moving to the side of your hips. We're going to extend our legs out in front, coming into Dhanasana. This is a seated mountain pose. Feet extended in front, hip distance apart. Nice tall torso. Nice L shape from your legs all the way up your torso, shoulders back and down, reaching out through the crown of your head. And this is Dhanasana, a seated mountain pose. And very slowly start to walk yourself down, flat onto your back. Palms facing down, right next to your hips. Bend your knees with the bottom of your feet on the mat. Slowly bring your heels as close to your hips as you can. Now grab a block. Gently place that right between your knees. With your knees, gently squeeze that block. I'm going to move my shirt up out of the way just so you can see what I'm going to do as we do it together. Pressing your hands into the ground, I want you to lift your right shoulder and tuck your shoulder blade. Lift your left shoulder and tuck. You will have most of your weight on your shoulders for your upper body now. And then very gently, keeping that block between your knees, slowly lift your hips up off the ground. Taking your second block and placing it directly under your hips, should be between your sacrum and your lower back. You shouldn't be feeling any pinching. Gently squeeze that block between your knees, finding your comfort zone. We're in supported bridge. This pose is excellent for lower back pain. Just like pigeon pose, if you set aside 2 minutes a day to hold this pose, either in supported or even without supported, build up to the not supported. This helps to relieve lower back pain. Notice your breath, breathing in and out. In yoga, every movement has a breath. Every time you breathe in through your mouth or your nose, you're bringing fresh oxygen into your blood system, which then energizes your body and all your organs. In bridge, we're also activating the lymphatic system, which removes toxins from your body. It runs parallel to the blood system, but it doesn't have a heart to pump fluid. So your lymphatic fluid is actually pumped by gravity and you moving your body. Holding this pose just a little bit longer. To release, I want you to inhale, pressing into your feet and lifting your hips up and taking the block out from underneath you, and very gently start to lower your spine, starting at the shoulders, and the last part that should hit the ground is at your bottom of your spine near your hips. Bending your knees and removing that block, bringing your knees into your chest. You can cross your ankles and extend your arms out to the side. When you cross your ankles, your knees stay into your chest. If you don't cross them, you have to fight them. So figure out what's comfortable for you. Hugging your knees into your chest with your hands, I want you to gently rock back and forth. Giving your lower back a nice little massage. Extending your legs out. We're going to go into Savasana. Now, if you don't have a bolster, come into corpse pose, or I also call it sunset pose. Notice your breath. Now, if you do have a bolster, grab a block, place it at the back of your mat. Taking your bolster or even a cushion from your couch and putting it at an angle as this. And then slowly sitting on your hips, move your back, your lower back to the edge of that bolster, extending your legs out in front, using your hands to help guide yourself down and support your back. I want you to very slowly come down to the bolster. Now, if you find your chin is reaching up towards the ceiling, I want you to place a blanket right up underneath your neck to support your neck. Hands should be flat on the ground, palms down, elbows resting on the ground, your wrist resting on the ground, allowing every muscle to relax. Now I want to invite you to join me on a journey of the senses. Gently close your eyes. Imagine you're on the beach, in the mountains, or in an open field. Whichever suits you for now, whatever will allow you to take a deep breath and relax. Noticing your breath. And as you inhale, is the air sweet or is it salty? Notice sounds around you. Are you hearing birds chirping? Do you hear crickets? Are you hearing waves crashing on the beach? Notice the temperature of the air. Is it cool or is it really warm? Is there a breeze? And very gently in your mind, reach down and feel the grass or the sand or a rock. Enjoying everything this has to offer. Easy breaths here. Continue on your journey of the senses on your own. Notice all the different sensations. Notice a lightness in your step, a lightness in your mind. Feel that smile on your face. Go to your happy place. And very gently start to wiggle your toes and your fingers, gently rotating your ankles and your wrist, reversing the twist in your ankles and your wrist, extending your arms overhead, reaching as far as you can, stretching the abdominal region, the muscles. Inhale deeply and exhale with a sigh. Gently bringing your arms back to your side, palms to the ground. Bending your knees, bottom of your feet flat on the ground. And if you're on a bolster, find a balance, bringing your hips where they're square on the ground, and very gently bringing one knee into the chest, or both if you can. And then drop that back to the ground gently and bringing your other knee into the chest. And if you can, bring both knees into the chest, giving yourself a nice hug. And very slowly opening your eyes and gently rolling yourself onto the side, coming into a fetal position. Now, if you're on a bolster, be very mindful of that bolster and gently move yourself off. When you're ready, lift your body up and let's come back into a comfortable seated position. I'm coming back up onto my mat into a comfortable seated position. I like my legs flat, both flat on the ground, one in front of the other. Find what works for you. And then nice tall back, elongating that spine, shoulders back and down, reaching out through the crown of your head. Inhale, arms up, palms together. Exhale to heart center. Your thumbs should be right up against your breastbone. Elbows out to the side, shoulders back and down. Easy breaths here. Now we're going to take a deep breath, and as you exhale, we're going to do one Om. Inhale deeply. May your thoughts be positive, may your words be kind, and may your heart be filled with love. Namaste, and thank you for sharing this hour with me.